Bien, bien. Only one of the teleprompters is working. I got it. David, I got it. It was just somebody hit it. You can tell Ed. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Before we begin our awards presentation, I wanted to make a few announcements. First, for the mayors. Give me one sec. First, for the mayors who are going to the White House, please remember that the buses are departing at 2:45. For the guests attending the reception at the White House, those buses will be departing at 5:15. Anyone headed to the White House will need a government-issued photo ID. Also, please remember, we have our special welcome reception hosted by Mayor Bowser tonight. Bus service will be provided from both the White House and from the hotel. Now let me call up our Executive Director, Tom Cochran, to introduce a video. Tom?
We wanted to show you this, and it relates to the First Lady's presentation, but it shows you what one city is doing on ending homelessness with veterans. So let's put the video up. Thank you.
The beginning of 2015, the veterans in this public service announcement were among nearly 700 local vets who were without a permanent home in the Las Vegas community. Today, all 700 are off the streets. An enormous achievement set into motion in June of 2015 by a program headed up by First Lady Michelle Obama called Mayor's Challenge to End Veteran Homelessness. It's a goal to energize mayors across the country to take an active role helping our vets get off the streets. 6 months after that challenge was presented, federal dignitaries, Southern Nevada mayors, and various public and private agencies gathered at the Smith Center for the Performing Arts for an exciting announcement. Our region was one of only 2 in the nation to meet that challenge. Mayors from Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City, and Mesquite were applauded for getting it done in a mere 6 months.
We all know it was an incredibly ambitious goal that was set out by the administration when the First Lady of the United States launched the Mayor's Challenge about a year and a half ago at the White House. So today, just 6 months after our visit, we have returned to Southern Nevada, and basically to thank the city of Las Vegas and the surrounding cities in Clark County for their commitment, and to applaud and thank you for getting the job done.
Meeting the challenge means a federal delegation has confirmed our community has the necessary systems and resources in place to prevent and end homelessness among the veteran population. It's called being functional zero. Now, while to some that may just sound like another government catchphrase, to the veterans who've benefited from it, it sounds like home. Many of them attended this celebration of our achievement to tell their stories.
When I got into the military, I was homeless. I got my GED through the military. I didn't last too long, honestly, within it. I think I spent more time being a prisoner of my own war within myself, with being homeless and fighting addiction and fighting to live.
Misty was encouraged to change her life by turning to the organization US Vets in Las Vegas.
Came over to US Vets, was housed April 9th. Been clean and sober for over 8 months. No cigarettes, no anything.
People here are amazing. I mean, from Shalimar to our mayor, you guys are wonderful.
Awareness makes the biggest difference in the world. And if you're able to get a hold of veterans and let them know that this can be a happy ending, that it doesn't have to last as long as it did for me.
My son has been homeless 0 days.
The Las Vegas area was initially targeted for the Mayor's Challenge because there was already a spirit of collaboration among the public and private sector in Southern Nevada, showing great results. Here are just a few of the events and programs that have helped us achieve the goal. This is Veterans Village, the brainchild of Arnold Stalk. It's a repurposed, once-abandoned motel and collection of ocean containers that have been converted into safe and comfortable housing and a resource center for homeless vets.
I think this is the best program I've ever come across. I've been around a long time.
This is the annual Veterans Stand Down, organized by the group US Vets. Here, veterans can come to one location and get a myriad of services and products they need to get back on their feet. Typically, there are as many as 150 providers and 600 volunteers here to help each vet that comes through the door. This year alone, more than 900 veterans were helped here in some way.
If it wasn't for these services and the VA, me and my wife would be on the streets right now.
All rise, please. Veterans Court is now in session. The Honorable Martin Hastings presiding.
There is also a Veterans Specialty Court established in 2007 within the City of Las Vegas Municipal Court system. It gives vets with minor offenses the option of following a strict program of community service and rehabilitation instead of facing jail time. This year alone, 39 veterans graduated from the program. And since it's difficult to get a home without a job, the City of Las Vegas Community Services Department holds job fairs specifically for veterans on a regular basis, giving vets a chance to show potential employers that being in the military only broadens the skills they have to offer.
That it gives them that one-on-one time that they need with the employers to be able to tell their story and talk about what their skill set is and how they can help the organization advance their goals.
Every year, thousands of veterans are helped here at an event called Project Homeless Connect. While this event is open to anyone homeless, a great number of those helped are veterans, like Denise Lindsay.
Where are we going? Okay, we're going to go over to legal. Veterans resources. We are going to go this way.
Here they can get assistance in housing, medical care, food stamp cards, legal assistance, clothing, and a hot meal. Those who have worked on the national level to end homelessness among our veterans were on hand for this December 2015 announcement and say what is being done here is now serving as a national model.
After more than 20 years engaged in the work of affordable housing and ending homelessness, it's been incredibly energizing for me to be able to meet and work with a growing list of communities that have achieved the goal of effectively ending veteran homelessness. So I hope that everyone here recognizes the significance of the change that we're experiencing, because to me, it really is nothing short of historic.
Mayor Carolyn Goodman promised all in attendance, meeting the Mayor's Challenge is not the end of a mission, it's the beginning of a new era in our community.
And for anybody to think that we cannot do this on an ongoing basis, you got the wrong city and the wrong community, because we will make sure every single day we are providing those social services and wraparound services that our vets need.
And she reiterated the challenge could not have been met and cannot continue to be met without the collaborative spirit of our community.
I look at all of you, I know what you're doing, and we are so grateful to you, because we love our veterans. Thank you all so much.
This story of achievement cannot end without looking back at a prophetic statement made from HUD Secretary Julian Castro at that meeting 6 months prior, when the Mayor's Challenge was first presented.
I imagine that day in the not-too-distant future when all of us will read in the Las Vegas paper, they did it. They ended veteran homelessness.
And 6 months later, when he joined the federal delegation here in Las Vegas to announce our achievement,
people look to you now as a role model community of how we can get the job done. Today, this morning's Las Vegas Review-Journal reads, Valley hits target in aiding veterans. Congratulations.
Now it is my pleasure to begin our Childhood Obesity Awards presentation. Today we honor 6 cities with grants totaling $445,000 in recognition of their outstanding work that they do to combat childhood obesity. I want to thank the American Beverage Association and the American Beverage Foundation for their Healthier America, for their continued support of this awards program. Every year we issue a call for applications and you send us your best programs. Then a panel of 3 independent judges is convened to review all of the applications. From those 6 winning cities, 6 winning cities are selected, 2 from each of the 3 categories, large, medium, and small. And if you are a member, you can apply. Full member and service city members are eligible for the award. So let me thank all of the mayors from across the country who applied for this award. Your commitment to this critical issue is appreciated, and it's necessary if we hope to reverse the trend of childhood obesity. By the end of the 3rd awards cycle, this partnership distributed over $1,780,000 to innovative and dynamic programs in member cities across the nation. It's a big deal. I think we can clap for that. Joining us today to announce the recipients of this year's Childhood Obesity Prevention Awards is Susan NEELY, President and CEO of the ABA. Please join me in welcoming Susan to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor Rawlings-Blake, and thank you, Tom Cochran, and the leadership of the U.S. Conference of Mayors and all the mayors for having us back. This is our 4th year and my 4th opportunity to, Mayor Johnson said, you're a veteran of this. I said, I guess so, and it's a pleasure to be a veteran of support for this important program to recognize the excellent work that you all are doing out there and do our small part to help advance it. I want to thank, we would not be able to do this, I think, as effectively as I hope that we do if we hadn't had good counsel and advice from our group of former mayors who advise us, and I just want to thank them personally for all the support and counsel that they give us so that we can serve you and support you better. I want to recognize former mayors Doug Palmer, Wellington Webb, Manny Diaz, Shirley Franklin, and Ron Dellums. Thank you for your counsel to us. Well, before I get to the news that you really want to hear, who were the winners of the 2016 Obesity Prevention Awards, I just want to take a minute to update you. I know I told you last year and gave you another short update when I was with you in June at the plenary session about our commitment and partnership with the Alliance for the Healthier Generation, which is a joint venture of the Clinton Global Initiative and the American Heart Association. And as I said, we have formed a partnership with them to reduce beverage calories in the American diet, to reduce beverage calories from our products in the American diet. It probably sounds a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? The beverage industry wants to reduce calories from its products. Well, first I'll tell you candidly it makes sense because we have a lot of beverages that have lower calories, and we're happy to talk about those, everything from water, and we're proud supporters of Mrs. Obama's Drink Up program. Everything from waters to diet soft drinks and more. So it does make sense from a business standpoint. Makes sense because we're pretty good at marketing and distributing, and these 3 major competitors, Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper, are actually competing against each other to figure out how to use their marketing acumen to help us reach our goal faster. We have a very specific goal of how many calories we want to take out of the American diet. It's 20% in 10 years, 20% of the beverage calories. But most importantly, this commitment makes sense because we want to be part of the solution, and we want to do our part using our resources, our skills, our know-how, and our businesses to help end obesity in America. So we are making progress. Last year was the first year. It was sort of a laying the groundwork year, and you'll start to see more actual implementation of the program. One thing you should be seeing now already in your communities is calorie awareness labels on the coolers at point of sale, on vending machines at point of sale that tell you to think about those calories and look for the calorie information. It's on the front of the cans, bottles, and packs. It's on the front of the vending machine. What's next in your communities will be the same information at fountain. So again, when you go to make that selection, you're nudged by us to think about the calories and look for the calorie amount as you make your choice. We have sort of what we think of as our double down in our test and learn communities, and the first 3 of those are in East LA, in sort of the southeastern part of Little Rock, and in the South Bronx and Brooklyn. We picked these. We've started in more urban areas. We'll be moving to some rural areas next, but we've started in more urban areas that have higher rates of obesity. There's economic disparities, and again, we want to do our part to get people there interested in trying lower calorie, smaller portion beverages. Those programs are up and operating. We'll have an evaluation going on to see the progress we're making there. And we call them test and learn because you get it from a business standpoint. It's like a pilot. What is going to change behavior? What's going to get somebody to think differently about their beverage choice so that they can better balance out their calories throughout the day? We think this program works perfectly with the innovative childhood obesity prevention programs that you all have underway, and we're very proud to be supporters of what's happening in your community. This is all wrapped up with our Mixify program. Mixify is a term that was created by some teens in the marketing process. For teens, that means balance what you eat, drink, and do, so we use their lingo. And this program generated 38 million social media impressions last year with teens. Moms like it, the teens like it, and we're going to keep that going as well because we want to engage that kind of hard-to-reach audience and the importance of balance. So we think all of this supports well what you're doing. We're trying to come at this from various vantage points, and again, our support of the U.S. Conference of Mayors Childhood Obesity Prevention Program is a very important way that we're doing that. So now on to the good stuff. To date, as Mayor Rawlings-Blake said, the program has awarded more than $1.3 million in grants to 17 cities, and this year alone we will award another $445,000. Thank you. We also, at this particular meeting, have set up an opportunity, and I think before Mrs. Obama spoke, I stopped by, and I think 50 mayors have taken advantage of it. I encourage more of you to take advantage of it. We've set up a recording studio where you can record your own radio PSA with your own message for your community about childhood obesity prevention. And then the PSA will be distributed in your media market by Strauss Media Strategies. So the booth is over there in the Statler foyer on the second floor. There's also a sort of secret coffee station, so when you run out of coffee here, you can go over there and record your PSA and get your coffee as well. So we hope you'll take advantage of that. Well, now, without further ado, on to the winners. We're going to start with the runners-up in each category, as we like to call them, Outstanding Achievement Award winners. Each of the Outstanding Achievement Award winners will take home a $25,000 grant for their program, and I'd like each of the mayors to stand and be recognized as I call their name. In the small city category for Outstanding Achievement, the recognition goes to Plainfield, New Jersey, Mayor Adrian Mapp for his Color Me Healthy program that uses color, music, and exploration of the senses to teach physical activity and nutrition to limited resource children ages 4 and 5. Mayor Adrian Mapp. In the medium city category, recognized for outstanding achievement is Columbia, South Carolina, Mayor Stephen Benjamin, for his Project GNF, that stands for Gardening, Nutrition, and Fitness Initiative, which will expand the existing mayor's youth sports initiative, encouraging physical activity to include gardening, cooking, and nutrition, and fitness classes at targeted city recreation centers. Mayor Benjamin. And in the large city category, recognized for outstanding achievement is Baltimore, Maryland Mayor and U.S. Conference of Mayors President Stephanie Rawlings Blake for her increasing vegetable consumption in schools through enhanced garden and cooking education program, which aims to transform school gardens into safe sources of produce for Baltimore City public school cafeterias and engage chefs to encourage vegetable consumption among students. Mayor Rawlings Blake. So thank you to all the Outstanding Achievement Award winners for your leadership. Now let's move on to the first place winners. Our top award in the small city category goes to Everett, Massachusetts Mayor Carlo DiMaria Jr. for his Healthy Me initiative, and we have a video to give you a look at that program.
Everett is a wonderful community that really tries to embrace its children. One of the struggles that we see is that there's a lot of children that are either hungry, or they're eating things with low nutritional value, or they're eating things out of vending machines.
The city of Everett actually has the highest rate of childhood obesity in the state of Massachusetts. Back in March, Mayor Carlo DiMaria saw the statistics of the obesity rates and the lifestyle diseases in the city of Everett, and he wanted to get the community moving and healthy.
We built this beautiful wellness center. It's about $15 a month for the family, the entire family.
The community is really reaching out, and we have nothing but positive feedback.
Oh, you did it! High five! There you go. Excellent.
I think most people want to feel good about themselves, but most people are intimidated by gyms or just don't have the resources. So we're trying to just demystify that for them. Trying to get them very active, trying to get them to understand what they're eating.
The Healthy Me initiative will have components to it, which will be nutrition education and physical activity. What we want to do is build tools for these children so that they can maintain a healthy lifestyle throughout their life.
Perfect. Excellent. Very good.
I think Healthy Me is going to be good for Everett because a lot of people just walk around and just buy junk food at the store, and if you bring it to their attention, they'll start eating healthy.
These funds will be put to great use. Our community is definitely struggling with the issue of obesity, but also we're a diverse community. Our children, our families are on the poorer side of the average family, so this will help.
We're very excited to get this Healthy Me initiative moving. We would never be able to do this if it wasn't for this grant, and we're looking forward to it in a lot of ways.
As a YMCA, we know that there's not one problem that we can take on solely by ourselves and that we need partners. So to have a partner like the City of Everett, like the Community Health and Wellness Center, and now this grant, it truly shows the power of collaboration and what we can do when everyone works together.
It doesn't help if we just do things once. It helps if we do it more than once. Because eating healthy one day is not gonna help if you don't eat healthy the rest of the year. This Healthy Me program gives everybody an opportunity to be healthy every single day.
I would like to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors and the American Beverage Foundation for Healthy America for this wonderful grant and this opportunity here in the city of Everett.
Mayor DiMaria, if you could come up, please. I think you've got a perfect spokesperson in that young woman who said you can't just do it one day, you have to do it every day. I think that captures, it sounds so simple, but that's why it makes it hard to do. So that's great that she has that.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with great mayors on the stage. I know I only have a few minutes, but I also want to thank my wife, Stacy, who's here with me today. My wife and I, there was an old high school gym that we just, an old high school that was decommissioned, and we had this old gym inside there, and her and I, with the help of DPW, we refurbished the whole gym and came up with this beautiful health and wellness center to get families healthy. And I want to thank her for her help. And we just rolled out a healthy meals program for residents in our city. Residents can get 18 meals, 3 meals a day, for $60 a week, all balanced meals with 2 approved snacks, because we know the importance of great meals. So, and I also want to thank Catherine Rollins, my policy director, who really has helped me apply for these grants and find these opportunities. So I want to thank Catherine for her help. And again, so good afternoon. I'm honored to be here and grateful to accept this award on behalf of the City of Everett. At first, I'd like to thank Susan NEELY, the CEO of the American Beverage Association. Thank you, Susan, for this childhood obesity prevention grant to improve the health of children of Everett. I'd also like to thank the United States Conference of Mayors for all of the work they do for our cities, helping to advocate nationally for the programs that will most likely directly benefit our residents. Our city is yeah, I'm a little nervous. I've never been on a stage like this. Our city is prioritizing improving the health of our residents, and particularly our youngest residents, because we realize that health is perhaps the largest determinant of quality of life. We see investing in our young people as the single best investment we can make in ensuring the sustained vitality in Everett. We want to create a healthy and active environment across our city where children and families have access to nutritious foods and where walking and biking are attractive and safe modes of transportation. We want companies to locate in Everett with the knowledge that a healthy workforce will maximize their success. We believe that local government can and should act to improve the health of our youngest residents, and the creativity, collaboration, and innovation in health programming will improve lives in our community. We are excited to implement this grant and look forward to seeing positive changes in our community. Once again, thank you. I look forward to learning from all of you about the ways that we can make our cities healthier. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor DiMaria, for your remarks, and good luck with your program. We appreciate your innovation and can-do attitude. Now on to the top award in the medium city category, which goes to Fontana, California, Mayor Aquetta Warren, for her Healthy Kids for a Healthy Fontana program. Let's take a look at that video.
Work out, what happens?
When I first got on the council in 2003, I was really concerned about myself, personally, obesity. Because when I got appointed the night, I had all black on. They took pictures, and I told my brother, wow, I'm huge. Fontana has a population of over 204,000 people. It's so diverse.
Right now, we are at 46% obesity in children and adults throughout our community.
We all have a tomato, right? Okay, so tomato cutting 101.
Healthy Fontana rotates to different schools each day, and on a daily basis, they get physical activity and hands-on learning for the children to learn about how to choose healthier foods.
And we worked with great partners, such as Kaiser, such as Lewis.
1, 2, 3. Healthy children make healthy adults. And we know that if children begin making the right choices for their health in their youth, those choices will become habits, and those habits will translate into healthy adults.
The best thing for me about Healthy Fontana is it's driven by the community, for the community.
Now we're ready for you guys can volunteer and ride on the bike.
It's It's not a cookie cutter approach, but it goes and says what's right for the citizens of Fontana.
Cilantro. Okay, and there's also, what is this?
When we first started working with the after-school program and with the children, it was very interesting to see that a lot of children didn't know the difference between different fruits and vegetables.
So, but what is healthy about a tomato, the seeds?
We would do taste testings, and something as simple as cran raspberries, they had never had them before, and we had kids coming up to us going, where do you find them in the store? I want my mom to get these, but where do we find them in the store?
I never tried this before.
You never tried this before? Well, good. It's always good to try new things. A lot of times we see kids that'll tell us, you know, I've never had sauteed zucchini, and we tried it, and it was great. How many of you guys would eat this at home? And the kids really, they soak up what we teach them, and they take it back to their families. It's really amazing.
We always need to keep the good in our lives, and Healthy Fontana does keep the healthy energy in our lives.
1, 2, 3, Okay, everybody fill the air. In citrus? Yeah.
I love walking with our children. They always talk about, when they go to the market, how they insist that their parents buy fresh vegetables and fruits.
What kind of exercise do you do?
Our children love to be outside. They love to be active, and they love when we adults pay attention to their activeness. So it's just fun for me. I'm gonna walk anyway. I'm trying to get my health together. So why not bring a few little friends along with me?
Don't you like being outside walking? Yeah. Very good. So you think we should eat vegetables every day? How many of you agree with that?
I'm really excited about this grant. This is an opportunity that we wanted for years. We have a future here, and that future is shared with all of our citizens. I just want to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors and the American Beverage Foundation for Healthy America by improving the quality of life for our children. You're creating the future that we need in this community. We are Fontana, and Fontana is moving forward.
Very good. Give yourselves all a big hand.
Mayor Warren, congratulations on your Healthy Fontana program. As the gentleman said, it's of the community for the community.
Thanks, everyone. I bring you greetings from the great city of Fontana, and we're part of the larger family, the San Bernardino Strong, and we work together, especially after that attack we had on December 2nd. But our community is strong, and thanks to American Beverage Foundation for Healthy America, and thanks to all of you for acknowledging the hard work that our staff has put in. Most of it as a result of the guidance we've gotten from Let's Move, from our community partners like Kaiser, Lewis Operating, Reggie King of Young Homes. This program started right in my living room, and now we are on and going. We like to use those funds that we receive for a mobile unit that will go from school to school, community center to community center, with physical equipment that we can teach our children how to maintain their health. So I thank you all again, and as I stated earlier, Fontana is on the move. Thank you.
Well, congratulations again to Mayor Warren and Fontana. I think you look like you were having the most fun out there, or as much fun as the kids, and all of the things that you were doing. And finally, our top award in the large city category goes to New Orleans, Louisiana, Mayor Mitch Landrieu for his Spit NOLA initiative. We'll watch the video, and then he will have a short commute to the podium.
You're here to see the mayor. And when I say Mayor Landrieu, what do you guys do? Awesome. You're here to see the mayor.
Well, everybody knows about the devastation after Katrina. I mean, our city has basically been destroyed, and we came together as a people and decided not to build the city back the way it was, but the way the city could have always been if we would have gotten it right the first time.
You come up, I want you to pop all the way through the ceiling. You ready? Don't cheat, don't cheat. Up! One! Down.
Fit NOLA is the city's program that works towards reducing obesity and increasing physical activity.
I don't believe you. Are you ready? Yeah! Down! And up! One! That's not loud enough. Down!
America can't be strong abroad if we're not strong at home. And the first building block of that is for people to be fit and healthy and to live long, happy lives.
We have a very active mayor who intends to exercise and not only talks about it, but lives it. Our intent is to make sure that we're showing that we walk the walk and that we are part of the solution and that we intend to create a culture here of health.
Let's block out all the negative energy. Hands by your ears. Get ready? Exercise, tap, and one. Tap louder, two.
Having things throughout the day to get them up moving and exercising and eating healthy foods allows them to kind of spike back up and get that focus back on learning. And just brings a lot of joy and kind of a good feel in the building.
It helps you think better and be a better student, and also it would help you not be exhausted when you come into school. You wouldn't be like, oh, another day of school. You wouldn't be like that. It's like you would be, yeah, school rocks and things.
When I say Sham, you say Sham! Sham!
I feel really hyped, energized, which proves me to do a lot of participating and a lot of better grades.
1, 2, 3.
I, Mayor of New Orleans, do recognize Schaumburg Elementary School as a platinum school for Fit NOLA. You guys, this is awesome. Congratulations, just for you.
The grant opportunity that Fit NOLA received is going to allow Fit NOLA to back up kind of the goal that they had in mind of becoming a fitter city.
Up, down.
There are a lot of great things going on in the city, and this grant is allowing people to see that.
Yeah. On your feet. Wipe your sweat off.
That was
Excellent
awesome.
job.
Schools like Schaumburg are really showed a commitment for young people to be physically active.
Thanks for working out with us, man. High five for
You did good.
I think Mayor Landrieu's commitment to Fit NOLA is part of his larger commitment to making the city strong and making the people strong.
What's your name? Y'all there? Hey, man, nice to meet you. Cities are the places where things are happening and where things are getting done. And everything converges around the leadership that is enunciated by the mayor on behalf of the city that they live in. I want to thank the American Beverage Foundation for a Healthy America and the U.S. Conference of Mayors for recognizing the work that we've done and helping them to give us an incentive to move forward and to do the good things that we're doing. Susan, thank you very much, and the American Beverage Foundation, and to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. KJ, in case you were witness, that was a camera trick. They turned it off after the third push-up. That's as far as we went. You know, listen, you've heard a lot about this. Obesity is a huge problem for us in our country. I'm from the city of New Orleans. We like to eat. And, you know, one of the things that we have to recognize, if America is going to be strong, we need to be healthy and we need to be smart. And that really, it begins and it ends there. And in order to be healthy, we have to exercise right and we have to eat right. We have to do better. And we have to set the conditions and expectations for our kids to do that. So in the city of New Orleans, our team put this together, and I'm really accepting this award on behalf of them and the kids of the city of New Orleans and all of the people that allowed us to invest about $189 million in new recreation centers, new pools, 100 miles of new bikeways, figuring out ways not only to eat better, but actually to get out. In our rec centers, we have free Fit NOLA classes. And as a young lady said in the other video, doing it once is okay, but it has to be a lifestyle change, and it's something that we're all working on together. And then finally, I really want to thank the First Lady, because this is part of her Let's Move campaign. And a lot of us accepted that challenge, and I'm glad we did. And then finally, just to end with an exclamation point on the veterans piece, there's no reason for us not to do this. We now have a pathway for every city, and that was another challenge from the First Lady as well. So if we make our kids healthy, we make sure our veterans have what they have, the country's going to be better and stronger. Thank you all so much, and God bless you.
Well, congratulations again, Mayor Landrieu. I just asked him if he could do as many push-ups as the First Lady, and he declined to take that challenge. But something to think about, Tom. She starts her Let's Move gatherings by doing push-ups on stage to get everybody moving, and puts us all to shame. So, but very impressive program, and we are proud to support New Orleans and Fit NOLA. Well, thank you again to everybody who participated. Thank you all for being here today. A year goes so quickly. I look forward to what 2017 will bring. We hope that others will submit their nominations for the U.S. Conference of Mayors Childhood Obesity Prevention Program. Take a minute to do your PSA, take advantage of that, and best wishes for a successful conference. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all of our winners, and thank you, Susan, for this opportunity. Mitch, you talked about the camera trick with the, only doing the 3 push-ups. I was really struck by that camera angle trick when you were doing the crunches. I know you had at least 5 of those kids sitting on your feet. So I don't know how you got to hide them in the camera angles, but whatever you did, it was very convincing. Very convincing. Now let me call on the new mayor of Indianapolis, John HOGSETT. Mayor HOGSETT will host the annual meeting for June, our annual meeting, June 24th to the 27th, and I know it will be fantastic. Mayor, I want you to know when I was new on the job, I too hosted the U.S. Conference of Mayors annual meeting, and I appreciate how much work it is and what a great opportunity it is for you to show the world the wonderful things that are taking place in your city. Please welcome Mayor HOGSETT.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe HOGSETT, and I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. The crossroads of America, deep in our country's heartland. Some of you may know that I have been mayor for 21 days. 21 days. What you may not know is that before my current responsibilities, I was given the great good fortune and honor of serving as the United States Attorney, the federal prosecutor in Indiana. In that capacity, during the 5 years or so that I served, we prosecuted the outlaws and Sons of Silence motorcycle gangs. We dismantled some of the most well-organized and well-financed drug cartels. We stared down what our Attorney General Eric Holder called the worst of the worst. And the truth is also, there were constant threats on my life. Really tough challenges. So, here is what I can tell you now. After having served 21 days as mayor, being the federal prosecutor was a piece of cake. This June, I'm inviting you to come to my great city, the city of Indianapolis, for the 84th Annual Conference of Mayors. During that conference, you will find out why 27 million people visit us every year. This year's host hotel is one of the finest in the nation, the JW Marriott, built in no small measure because Indianapolis recently hosted the greatest Super Bowl of all Super Bowls. And from there, you'll find out just why Indianapolis was named one of the most walkable cities in our nation. Just steps from your hotel, you will find more than 250 restaurants, more than 4 dozen unique museums. If you haven't been to Indy recently, or if you've never been to Indianapolis at all, you'll be pleased to see that we've added miles of recreational trails to connect our downtown to our core urban neighborhoods. We also have the largest children's museum in the world. And every year, we host the largest single-day sporting event in the world, the venerable Indianapolis 500. This year, we will celebrate the 100th running of that iconic event, the greatest spectacle in racing. So my wife, Steph, and I invite you and your spouses, your families to come and to enjoy the great city that is Indianapolis. Please, with me, watch this video because while it may be cold and snowy outside right now, you'll be able to see what my city, Indianapolis, looks like in the warmth of June. And it is not true that one of the activities we'll focus on when you come to Indianapolis, although we're still negotiating, it's not yet true that you'll be able to watch Mayor Kevin Johnson go one-on-one with Larry Bird. Welcome to Indianapolis, and let's take a look at the video.
Now I'm very excited about the meeting. Looks great. You have a beautiful, beautiful city. Thank you so much. I would now like to turn the meeting over to West Sacramento Mayor Christopher CABALDON, again, in a good way. Chair of the Conference of Mayors, Jobs, Education, and Workforce Committee. He will be moderating our next session, sponsored by JPMorgan Chase, which will examine the critical role and changing structure of the career and technical education to meet the high demands of business and prepare young people for future success. Mayor CABALDON.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam President. And if we're going to ask our panelists to come forward, we've got a quick but exciting session about career and technical education, which might sound like an odd combination of words, but our session today is going to be not about our grandfather's vocational education, but about a modern 21st century approach to career and technical education, and how governors and mayors are working together to change the face of CTE, career and technical education in this country, to really make a difference for youth opportunity, but also for a strong competitive workforce and for long-term careers. We're also going to hear about some exciting work that's been happening and is continuing to intensify with JPMorgan Chase and some exciting investments that are being made throughout our country as well. And JPMorgan Chase is the sponsor of this session. We really appreciate their enduring partnership with the conference and with so many mayors across the country in driving deep impact in this work. Now, when we say CTE, or career technical education, or voc ed, in many of our minds, what the images that get brought up are the wood shop that we might have taken in high school ourselves, or beauty school afterwards, and those are all still real. But we are talking today really about career pathways around long-term careers that are adaptive and create the adaptability skills for young people to have long-term careers that may cross sectors, that certainly cross a wide range of skills, and where college and career are both ongoing options, that there are not one track for some kids and another track for other kids, but the opportunities to specialize while also having choice for young people as they grow over time. And so to try to defeat the stigma associated with vocational education from the past by bringing it fully into the modern world. It's critical for us as mayors because with changes in technology and globalization, so many of our communities and our young people need the ability to adapt and to be flexible and to follow their passions and to understand why school matters and why the curriculum matters, to apply it in real ways that the modern curriculum demands as well. And for our companies, we know from the skills gap we have to do a better job of raising the specialized and the generalized skills of young people to be productive employees and to drive the kind of economic prosperity that we need in our local communities. So it's not about discouraging young people to go to college, it's not about discouraging vocational education, it's about bringing them together so that students who thought before, I'm going off to the best university in the country, you need to be thinking about career as well, right? That's not just about the academic side. And students who may have thought college is not for me, maybe the chance to be able to apply their academic work in the real world will enlighten them about their choices as well. And in a time when youth unemployment is so high, and at the same time as the need of so many of our small and big businesses across the country need highly skilled workers, the time for mayors to engage is now. And the first steps have to be taken on the local and the state level. So to start off our discussion this afternoon, I want to turn it over to our colleague, Greg Fisher, the mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, who is also the chair of our Metro Economies task force, to introduce our first panelist.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everybody. As the mayor said, workforce development is the economic development issue of our day, and thus requires so much of our attention, and it's going to make the difference between the cities that win and the cities that don't win quite so much. I'm here to introduce one of the great leaders in our country about this. He's a man whose leadership will have a lasting impact on many, many generations of citizens from my home state of Kentucky. And just last month, Governor Steve Beshear wrapped up 8 years in office, so he was term limited and had to move on. And during that time period, he provided strength and guidance to lead citizens through all kinds of calamities, from natural disasters, had to rebalance the budget a dozen times, brought us out of the Great Recession into a new era where all Kentuckians could have unprecedented access to health care. He was an outstanding partner to me as the mayor of Louisville, and other Kentucky mayors, providing assistance and cooperation. Really, whenever we needed it, he was there. He helped us build a $2.3 billion Ohio Rivers Bridge project that had been languishing for decades, and he's been a lifelong champion of education as well. And then as governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Steve Beshear went above and beyond the call to do everything that he could to make sure there were systems in place in promoting lifelong learning, including helping us launch the Kentucky Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. Kentucky Fame has been nationally recognized. It's an advanced manufacturing apprenticeship program that works with industry and educational institutions to help prepare students for 21st century careers, and they graduate without any debt. And this is just one part. Let's hear it for graduating without debt. This is just one part of the enduring legacy of my friend here, Governor Steve Beshear, in education, healthcare, in many different ways. So please welcome a great leader with a big heart, my former governor, and always governor, Steve Beshear.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mayor, and thanks all of you mayors for allowing me to come as a former governor and be with you. I know that all of you know something about the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Some of you know about a famous horse race called the Kentucky Derby. Some of you may have been there. Hopefully, many of you know about one of our most celebrated products, Kentucky bourbon. It's this brown liquid that we make there. Actually, 95% of the world's bourbon is made in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The other 5% is counterfeit. You know, we've got 4.4 million people living in Kentucky. We have over 5 million barrels of bourbon aging in Kentucky right now. And so we like to say that's one for each of us, and the rest of it we share with the world. But what you may not know about Kentucky is the fact that we have an economy today that is thriving. We went from the depths of the Great Recession that we all went through, where our unemployment reached 11%, to today where our unemployment is 4.9%. And last year we won the Governor's Cup from Site Selection magazine for creating the most jobs per capita in 2014 in the entire country. So our economy is booming right now. I remember when I came into office and the recession had hit, and my employers were telling me, Governor, we know Kentuckians need jobs, but we don't have any jobs. Today, they tell me, Governor, we've got 50 jobs, we've got 100 jobs. We can't find enough people to fill those jobs. Now, that's a great problem to have. I much rather have that one than the first one. But it points up an issue that we're going to talk about some today, because we've got Kentuckians that are still unemployed. We've got jobs that are to be filled. And the problem is those Kentuckians aren't trained for those 21st century jobs that are out there today. Jobs that require advanced skills, a higher level of skill, but not necessarily a 4-year degree. You and I both know that in the minds of parents and many students, when you talk about what we used to call vocational education, their eyes glaze over. Oh, that's for somebody who can't make it in college. Those days are gone. I mean, the jobs out there today, many of them require a 1 or a 2-year certificate in higher skills and pay $90,000 to $100,000 a year, which in Kentucky, you can raise a family on and have a great life with. That's where our problem is today. And that is a problem that we started trying to address in many ways, and it starts with youth and high school and moves on into the adult workforce. The mayor mentioned we created in the manufacturing part of our economy an operation we call FAME, the Kentucky Federation of Manufacturing Education. It started with Toyota needing workers. And so we got Toyota in, and they designed a curriculum with the community college in central Kentucky, and those kids started coming in and being in the classroom 2 days a week and working in the factory 3 days a week. And after 2 years, they had a 2-year certificate, they had no debt, and they had a job. That rang a bell with all of us. And so we now have 6 chapters just in the manufacturing area and 75 companies all across Kentucky who are doing the same thing. You know, it's not something we have to reinvent. The whole European education model is based on this apprenticeship type of idea. Their high schools now are set up to where there's one track where kids are doing exactly that. They're with a company, they are in class so many days a week, they work so many days a week, they get paid, and when they graduate from high school, they have a job, a good paying job. And we've got to head in that direction because that's where the jobs of the future, many of them are. And they're glamorous jobs. They're sitting around on computers. They're not putting the round peg in the round hole. They're on computers, they're computing things, they're figuring out all of the things that modern day manufacturing and technology have to offer. So those are the kinds of programs. The mayor of Louisville, Greg Fisher, started a program called Summer Works in 2011, matching up jobs with folks and kids that needed help in the summer. 6,500 kids have now gone through that, and it's expanded into trying to discover career paths, not just a job, a filler, you know, where you can earn a little money and then go back to school, but actually building a career path. And the more we do those kinds of things, Mayor, I mean, that's where the future action is, at least in Kentucky, and I dare say probably all across the country.
Certainly is. Thank you so much, Governor. Switzerland is an example, is one of these models where when you first look at it, you think it's the old tracking system, but it's not. It's those tracks, they insist, are permeable, right? So that yes, you might pick one in what we would think of as the 7th or the 8th grade, but you can switch in the 9th, you can switch in the 10th, you can switch in the 11th. You're not making a life, you're not determining the rest of your life in 7th grade while still getting a head start. Right. In whichever of the paths that you choose. So it's a good lesson for us here in the U.S. Our next panelist is the Mayor of Fort Worth, Betsy Price, who, as you can see, kicks a lot of butt in this area.
It's really not the latest in fashion.
So, Mayor
but
Price,
it doesn't slow us down much.
Of course not. Mayor Price is a native of Fort Worth, and she's the 44th mayor of the city, which is the 17th largest city in the United States and one of the fastest growing cities in America. Strengthening job creation and education is a big priority of hers. She worked closely with the local community colleges, the Workforce Development Board, Chamber of Commerce, and a variety of citywide initiatives. One in particular we want to highlight is her work on demand industry career pathways, which really has been a model that's emerging for the rest of us as well. So Mayor Price, if you could share a little about what's going on in Fort Worth and some lessons.
Sure, and if you don't, thank you for having us. It's an honor to be with all of you today. And if you don't know Fort Worth, we want you to get to know Fort Worth, and you got to move your jewelry when you do these things. We are one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. 2015, we had a historic year. 15 deals totaling $4 billion. Here we go. In capital investment in 3,462 million square feet of offices and warehouse space leased. That's 6,000 brand new jobs that were created in there. And one of the questions that we get from companies looking, and you hear it always, is tell us about your workforce. Tell us what you have to offer. Your students, for one thing, can our current employees that are coming with us put their children in a school where they're going to learn, where they'll have a path to career? And can you provide a workforce to serve us for the next 40 to 50 years? And in Fort Worth, we're big on public-private partnerships. Judy McDonald from our Workforce Solutions Board is here with us. Judy is one of the big drivers along with our community colleges. And one of the things that we've done is develop programs in conjunction with our manufacturers. One of the things that we as mayors and as national leaders have to think with these kids coming up, they tend to think that manufacturing is still their father's and their grandfather's jobs. that it's a dirty job where they don't want to be. They want to be on this or on their computer screen. That's not what manufacturing is today. Our friends at Lockheed Martin, which is our largest employer with 12 to 14,000 people, went to our community college and our workforce solution in the city several years ago, along with Bell Helicopter, and said, we simply have to do a better job training folks to come up. And our friends at JPMorgan did a study in Fort Worth and Dallas 2 years ago, and we realized there were 40,000 jobs in IT and healthcare that went unfilled for better than a year. And these are well-paying jobs that only require a 2-year certification. So we have worked closely with our community college to create a 2-year program where kids can come out of high school, or even better, if they're prepared in the high school level, if they started out on a track at the junior high level, they can move into dual credit with our community college. They can get a certification in aviation, in engineering, fire prevention, and all the disciplines in the medical field, from working as nurse LVNs, what we used to call LVNs, to moving up to registered nurses in 2 years. And many of these kids, most of these kids are graduating now with a 2-year certification and the ability to start a job that's paying $75,000 or better. And all of them need that. It's the days where these kids can come out of school, start a job that pays $40,000, and they're carrying $90,000 in college debt is long gone. We simply have to figure out, how do we fill these jobs? I was in Vegas this week at the SHOT Show. We have a lot of industry in the arms industry, and we were working closely with some new people there and interviewing about 6 new companies, and 3 of them, the first thing they asked me was, who do you have that can come to work for us that has the skills and the certification that we need? And our community college and our workforce solutions undertook studying what our future employees were going to need, what skills would they need, and how could we implement that. And the city's been a big piece of that. And you as mayors, the things that we can do is use our bully pulpit to partner up with our business community, start looking at and talking to our schools about how can you offer schools of choice, options for our kids, that not every child, while we would like for each child to be on a 4-year track to college, it doesn't happen that way now in reality. Most of these kids need to go to work. Many of them, to get out of high school, they'll be the first in their family to graduate from high school, let alone to get a 2-year certification and go to work. So we have to develop, we've worked on a mayor's education task force that's working closely with our business communities and our community college to continue to push that through. And at the school level, our schools have partnered with the city for a fire academy, and you can come out of one of our high schools with a certification, then you go through local fire training and you're ready to go to work as a fireman, all entering with great jobs. We've got cooking academies. Workforce development has helped us. Our service industries tell us they don't have near enough young chefs coming out, people working in the nutrition side. It's been a very innovative program, and I'm proud to say that it's working. Fort Worth doesn't have the 100% solution, but we do have a good start on it, and I feel like with the Mayor's Education Task Force, working with our business community, our workforce solutions, our friends at Chase, that we can continue to grow. Our biggest sense of regression for any city, any growing city, is lack of education. And if we don't tackle how do we deliver a well-prepared workforce now, then shame on us, and our cities won't continue to grow.
Those are the fantastic lessons for every mayor in the country. We often get frustrated, come on schools, why can't you do this? And if you think about some of the things that you said, the school doesn't have the capacity, the district doesn't have the capacity, they never will, to do some of those pieces. So you wonder, why are you still offering woodshop in this school? That's not where the labor market is. Well, we're offering woodshop because Mr. Cochran, who teaches woodshop, has always taught woodshop, and that's what he teaches, so we're going to have that next year too. But the school is not going to develop its own workforce data analysis system. The school is not going to have the vice principal is not going to be able to meet with all the companies to set up the internships and figure out what are the right certifications. Only business and other employers and mayors to bring them together can make that happen. And so Fort Worth is really...
But with the help of the mayor's office, they will listen to you, and they will begin to say, we need to change our curriculum to meet what the mayor and the councils and our city leaders are telling us that businesses are asking for.
That's exactly right. Well, one example where that's happening at big scale, I think one of the leading regions in the country, anchored by the city of Boston, is led by Marty Welsh, the mayor of Boston, who's been a huge impact in this field nationally and, of course, in his own city. Sworn in as the city's mayor just in the beginning of 2014. But given his background in labor and in lifelong advocacy for working people, took this issue by the horns. Well, he'd already had it by the horns, but kept driving it even harder to strengthen opportunities for young people and for jobs and for linkages, college and not college, across the spectrum. Has won national recognition for that work, has fought for stronger vocational education and advanced placement courses, not seeing that it has to be a choice as part of his high school improvement plan. And he's worked hard to expand even more career pathways, building on Boston's preeminent success through their private industry council in building summer youth employment and career-related employment and helping to lead the career pathways movement. So we're looking forward to hearing what's going on and what's next in Boston, Mayor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor, and it's an honor to be here today. You know, I was listening to the governor and the mayor speak about their towns and their states, and similar to what's happening in Boston. Boston currently is in the third largest growth spurt in the history of our city. We have over $7 billion to nearly $7.5 billion worth of construction happening in the city of Boston right now. We have $14 billion more approved, waiting to start. We have a population of about 656,000 people, the largest since the 60s. We'll be at 700,000 people probably within the next 10 years. A lot of great positive signs, yet the income inequality gap is the largest in the country in Boston. And when you really think about young people and our office, when we started focusing on it, we focused on education and strengthening education and putting young people on pathways to a career or to college, but also not forgetting the people that are in the system right now that are out of school or that might have dropped out of school, and how do we continue to build support for them. So it's about making sure that we're training people for the workforce of the future. Some of our industries definitely have issues around not having enough qualified people, like the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Certainly we have those challenges as well. And I think the first thing I want to do is thank JPMorgan for SkillWorks in the program that's working with Boston and connecting our students with growth in industries. And I think that's something that's very important for us. We're doing a lot of different things. We're looking at our schools. We're creating the first STEM academy from K to 12 in the city of Boston. The Dearborn School, first of its kind in our city. We're in the process of building that school out now and strengthening that school. Summer job program, always very successful in our city. We try to take it up a notch, and we you know, when I took over in 2014, that number that we had summer jobs was higher than 2013. Our number for 2015 was higher, so we have about 10,300 kids placed in summer employment. We're working towards eventually, hopefully someday, having full summer employment for all the kids that want it. That's making tremendous success. We're working with our business, our companies in the city to adopt a school, and those companies really have them adopt a school so that they can tie into the school, not necessarily money-wise, but by person-wise and brain power-wise, and helping put these schools back on good, positive grounds. And I think some of that work that we're doing is paying off. I mean, we're working employment with career opportunities and education, and I think the future of what we want to do as urban mayors really is about how do we continue these partnerships? How do we incentivize young people to, once they get into the school system, whether it's through kindergarten or first grade, and keeping them there through 12th grade, and then put them on a pathway to success? There's been a lot of talk in the conference the last couple of days about crime. Yesterday there was a panel up here talking about community policing and community relations with the police. The best way to solve that issue is by providing education. That problem goes away, because what happens is now everyone's on a pathway to success, and they don't have to turn to the street. And I think that as American mayors, I think we have a lot of work to do. We all tout the pride and the growth in our city, and in my own office, we often talk about, you know, we're doing great things. We're creating more affordable housing. We're creating more housing than ever before. We're doing a lot of things ever before. And then that report came out about inequality, and it kind of gives you a gut check to realize that, yeah, we're doing good, but not for everybody. And I think the conversation that we're having today around young people is really what it's about. It's how do we put our young people on a pathway to success? How do we make sure they have the right programs in place, the right apprentice programs that actually have a job at the end of it, not just an apprentice program we can feel good making an announcement and talking about all these great things we're doing, and at the end of the day, we see the result that we still have the #1 gap in inequality in the country. We have to do more. So we're working with a couple programs I just want to mention. Greater Boston Apprentice Program, to allow students gain knowledge, earn a living at the same time, really working to how do we help students with allowing them to continue their education but gain the knowledge. We have Skilled Careers and Life Science Initiative. This is 660 young people working in the Life Science Corridor on the South Boston waterfront predominantly, but working with people, young adults building career programs, but also helping them manage their money, manage their assets. And another program that we have that we've taken called Operation Exit, which we've targeted individuals that have police records and prior involvement in gang activity and spent time in jail. We've taken people out, put them into an apprentice program, which we've turned around 28 people that have these long, lengthy records that are players in the streets, taken them off, put them in the building trades, and put them on a pathway to success. So I think we're doing a lot of innovative things in Boston, but we still have to continue to do those innovative things. And I think it's important for us, to team up with companies like JPMorgan, because they're also looking for the future knowledge-based employment workers. We have them. We just have to make sure that our kids that are in our public school systems right now, in our privates, in our charters, in our parochials, are all on a pathway to success.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Mayor. So much of what we're hearing is to kind of get beyond, we used to set up these false choices that gave us exits from having to deal with the opportunity that was there. And we would say things like, some kids just aren't cut out for college. When it's true, some kids may choose not to go to college right at this moment, but they may go later. And so rather than putting kids into categories and deciding for them what they are not capable of, thinking about how to create lots of opportunities and stacking them and sequencing them and creating on-ramps and off-ramps that allow young people and not so young people to get some skills, get a job, to pay for college and come back 5 years later, maybe get some more skills later. Everyone upskilling. And then folks even that were just saying, I'm going to Harvard, my daughter's going to Harvard, that's the end of it. Your daughter still needs to learn how to show up to work on time, work in a team, work in a multicultural environment. So career is for everyone too. So the systems really matter, and it's one of the reasons why we're so happy to have this partnership with JPMorgan Chase at the conference and nationally. And so I want to close our opening comments with Chauncey Lennon, who is the Managing Director for Global Philanthropy at JPMorgan Chase. He leads the JPMorgan Chase's initiatives to promote economic opportunity and prosperity through investments in workforce practice, innovation, and policy. Many mayors in the conference have been working with him directly and with the team there around things like New Skills at Work, which is a 5-year, $250 million initiative to help workers and industries invest in the skills gap and to help close that gap for both competitiveness and for shared prosperity. The Fellowship Initiative and so many others. And so Chauncey's here to tell us what's going on now with JPMorgan Chase's national initiative and what we can look forward to. Welcome.
Thank you. And it's an honor to be here with the former governor and the current mayors. So I'm here today to say a few words about a new initiative that's called New Skills for Youth. That JPMorgan Chase launched this week. New Skills for Youth is a $75 million 5-year effort to improve career readiness for young people across the globe. And I think the best way that I can explain why a big bank is committed to this issue is to tell you about a young woman from Baltimore named Taylor Ferguson. When Taylor started as a freshman at Towson University, she was already well ahead of her nursing program classmates. As a high school student in Baltimore's Academy of Health Professions program at Western School of Technology and Environmental Science, she'd earned certifications in CPR, first aid, and had learned to take vital signs, make hospital beds, and communicate with patients, physicians, nurses, and hospital administrators. The experience she developed proved valuable not only in her nursing program, but also in setting her up for long-term career success. Skilled workers, as we've heard today, are in high demand for the healthcare industry. The need for registered nurses in the U.S. is expected to grow by about 16% between now and 2024, which is a much faster rate than much faster rate than the average for other occupations. The median annual salary for entry-level registered nurses is nearly $67,000, and includes a strong career pathway for future opportunities. With the skills Taylor's learning is developing, she's well on her way to a high-skill and good-paying career. Now, unfortunately, economic success is increasingly out of reach for many other young people. As the economy has evolved to require a more skilled workforce, not enough young people have access to the college and career pathways that build the skills that good jobs increasingly demand. Too few students have the same opportunities that the Academy of Health Professions program afforded Taylor. Today, the youth employment rate in the US is more than twice the overall national rate. The unemployment rate for young African Americans is about 4 times the national rate, and 5 million young people, including a fifth of African Americans and Latinos, are neither working nor in school. Millions more are stuck in low-skill, low-wage jobs and are missing out on opportunities to build their skills and advance economically. These challenges put significant strain on workers and their families, as well as business, local economies, and cities. We must address this youth career crisis, and it starts in our schools. We need more rigorous, high-quality career pathway programs. These programs and the career and technical education systems they are part of must be better aligned with the needs of business. This will ensure that the skills training provided to young people matches them up with high-demand jobs in growth industries in their communities, such as healthcare, advanced tech manufacturing, and technology. As the country's largest financial services firm, we hear from our business clients every day about their workforce challenges. They cannot find the right kind of workers for the jobs they have today, and these are often jobs that require technical skills. And so 1/3 of American companies report having job openings for which they cannot find qualified workers with the correct skills. Economists are projecting that by 2020, more than 60% of new jobs will require more than a high school degree, but about half of those new jobs will not require a 4-year degree, what we often call middle skill jobs. Yet only 1 in 3 Americans in their mid-20s today has graduated from college, and only 10% have a degree from a 2-year college or the right training or certificate to get a job requiring technical skills that pays above a living wage. These grim statistics only look worse if you grow up in a low-income community, so we need to ensure that these high-quality CTE programs also focus on equity and access. The evidence on the impact CTE programs have on outcomes is compelling. CTE students do better in school. High school graduation rates for CTE students is 93%, compared to the US national average of about 80%. 4 to 5 CTE grads who go on to post-secondary education earned a credential or were still enrolled 2 years later. And high-quality CTE could open the door to shorter, less expensive post-secondary options that allow students to start good jobs in the near term without precluding further education later in their careers. In sum, this is why JPMorgan Chase is investing $75 million over the next 5 years to improve career readiness for young people through the New Skills for Youth initiative. We intend to use our resources, leverage our expertise, and convene government, business, and education leaders to confront career education challenges so that we can get our young people the skills needed to land good-paying jobs. First, we are launching a competition among US states to incentivize them to transform how they design and deliver career-focused education. JPMorgan Chase is working with the Council of Chief State School Officers and the National Association of State Directors of Career Technical Education Consortium to award grants to 20 to 25 states for planning and early implementation of long-term career readiness education programs that align with the needs of area employers. Following that, additional grants will be awarded to 10 to 15 of these states with up to $2 million per state over 3 years to implement and assess their demand-driven career and technical education programs. As you all know, oftentimes we have funding for current services, but we don't have the flexible money that's needed to really think about how you transform a system, how you have the kind of R&D capacity to really improve what you're doing day to day. So to succeed in the competition, states will bring together education leaders, leaders of urban districts where the challenges and opportunities are greatest, business partners, and community partners to set ambitious goals for expanding access to and preparation for careers in high-skill, high-wage jobs. And second, to promote global innovation in career-focused education, we will invest in city and school programs around the world that are developing new and effective models of high-quality career-focused education. We hope to increase the number of students, particularly disadvantaged young people, who earn meaningful post-secondary and workforce credentials. We will document and study the level of success of each program so that educators, policymakers, training providers, employers around the world are enabled to identify and replicate most promising practices. We believe that New Skills at Youth is an ambitious initiative to prepare young people for high-skilled jobs to compete in the global economy. By investing in career-focused education in cities and schools around the world, we can develop new and effective models that are in line with the needs of emerging industries. These services can give young people a running start into their new careers, equipped with the skills and experience needed to compete for good-paying jobs and long-term career opportunities. In Taylor Ferguson's case, she's excited about her immediate prospects in nursing, but she's even more excited for the endless possibilities she sees for herself in the future working in healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chauncey. And I know there are a lot of civil rights activist mayors in the room who lived through the tracking concerns and issues like that, and who have had concerns about that a seventh grader shouldn't be picking. I want to be a nurse, or we would have only astronauts and veterinarians if we did that at that age. But I think part of what we learned in a session earlier today was a reminder that it's really, even if a student doesn't stay in that same sector, what they are learning is the generalized career skills. What they're learning is to think about career in the first place in meaningful ways, to connect with real employers, so that even if you finish a health pathway at the Academy of Health in Baltimore, maybe you decide from that experience, I want to be an attorney in a hospital. Maybe I want to be an engineer at a hospital. Maybe I want to do something that's different, but I've learned that, and my curriculum came to life as a result of having some anchor from that real world experience. I wanted to ask you, Mayor Price, since start with a totally made-up statistic. Let's just assume 61% of all mayors have at one point in their careers convened an education task force. I know I have, twice. So you mentioned how important that's been in launching what is a pretty robust, sophisticated initiative. What's the secret sauce for why this one is working and so many of them have not?
You're right. I expect it's more than 61% who've launched a task force. I think the success that makes it work is that you can bridge the gap between businesses. Every business in your community, and you know this, Marty, is going to, if the mayor calls and says, show up, we're going to talk about this, they come. And then if you're bringing the ISDs to the table too, suddenly they're going to sit up and go, these folks are out there talking to our employers. What piece of this is that we're really missing? What are we not doing? What are we not changing? And what the heck is the city going to do if we don't do something about it? And I think the key is just getting them all in the room, but don't say, go the old adopt a school model. Go adopt a school and show up. Well, what they do is end up showing up and they give parties, Valentine's party, Christmas parties, whatever, and they occasionally take the kids out on a tour. And we're saying, here's what you're going to do. Here's the curriculum. We've got a set, go in a box pattern. Take this, go to your school, find the school that fits your industry, show up, appoint your employees, give your employees an extra hour a month to go volunteer in a school. If it's not the school you pick, it's the school where their kids are, the school where their grandchildren are. But give them something specific. Stop talking and just say, we're going to talk about this in general. Give them something they can put their teeth into. Can they go? Can they send their employees out to have lunch with the kids, to watch them cook, and to say, you could work in this industry? Or can they take them to the hospital or take the nurses out and say, here's what we're really doing. Sit down with the kids and start early. You're right. Not every child's going to end up in the track they identify, but it does give them the discipline. But really bridging the gap for our initiative has simply been getting them in and giving them something they can say concrete. But just as importantly, they need the school districts at the table listening. And the schools will come if the businesses are there talking to the mayor's office.
And Mayor Walsh, you broadened this conversation locally. A lot of mayors focus, they go to the Chamber of Commerce first, then they talk to the superintendent. That's the whole box. You brought in the local labor unions, nonprofits, the universities that you're rich in Boston. How do you do that? How do you start a conversation with some of these organizations, institutions that haven't always thought of themselves as part of the workforce and opportunity system for young people?
Well, I think you have to think outside the box, first of all, and I think many businesses can help you in different ways. And our Adopt a School program is very different than I think what the mayor just described. It's something that happened in one school. It wasn't even a program that was formalized. It was that this company called Natixis was teamed up with an underperforming school in the city of Boston, and they started to get involved in the life of the school by bringing the workers of the company into the school. They adopted the school. They were giving kids pathways. Then they started bringing in paper and pencils and books, and they started buying things, the employees of this company, and it really just took a life of its own. And when they came and explained this to me, what we did was when I went to the Chamber of Commerce and addressed that we're going to start this program with other companies partnering them up, I had 2 of the students from the Winthrop that were, I think they were 9 and 10 years old, and they gave this unbelievable speech that they got a standing ovation, and they talked about the opportunities to create mentorship and pathways and thinking differently. So it really is about thinking outside the box, I think, number one. We are also looking at our high schools, and we're in the process of having a task force to redesign our high schools, because in Boston, our graduation rate, somebody was saying yesterday, the graduation rate is nearly 70%, and we're doing better, and which is good. 70% is better. It was Chicago, and it is better, and 67 is better than 52, but we can't be proud of that. That means that 33% of the kids that aren't graduating college, they're dropping out or high school, and they're in the streets and they're getting in trouble. So I think that if we can start these relationships a lot younger, and as these kids get older into high school, and we have the redesigned high school that really attracts the kids and captures their imagination, and now you have the partnerships with companies they never even thought of. Now they have a path. Now they have an opportunity. Now they have a pathway to a career at college. And you had mentioned college. You know, I graduated Boston College evening school when I was 40 years old. And I'm the mayor of the city of Boston. So I was not the student that followed the pipeline of somebody. You know, I did graduate. I went to college for a year, dropped out, went to work construction, and a lot of other things happened, and then I ended up going back to college. So I think that everyone's path is different. My path could have been being a construction laborer, which I was, and I could have made a good career out of it, but I wasn't happy. I wanted the little screen. I wanted to put a tie on every day. Some days I think I should say where I was, but now I'm here. So, but I think that really it's about, there's not one size fits all, but it's getting companies like JPMorgan to invest in communities, but also not just investment, making sure their dollars are hitting it right. Because there's been plenty of investments. We can all talk about history of investments in our city, and this company was great and that company was great, but if we're not spending the money correctly and the city's not putting up young people on a pathway, then we're wasting their money, we're wasting the taxpayers' money, and for today's economy, it is putting a young person on a pathway to college or a career. That's the pathway today.
So Chauncey, how do we do that? I mean, is it data, metrics? You're working with so many cities. It's giving you a lot of case studies to be able to compare and contrast what is really working and driving exactly what Mayor Walsh said. What are your insights?
So, I think, we know that for good reasons, we organize things into silos, right? But a pathway is something that is going to cut across all these silos. So, you're talking about a very different way of thinking about how you're going to organize education broadly defined, right? So that, I think, requires a couple things. It requires a vision, right? People have to understand that, the idea that you're not necessarily telling them to go to college is not a horrible thing, right? That you're trying to give people more information about the real opportunities that are out there so they can make informed choices, right? So that's a very different approach to this whole idea about what the goal should be. And then I think, beyond vision, you need leadership, right? Because all of a sudden you're asking people who have been focused on K-12 or CTE or, focused on their piece of turf to think about how we're going to organize things around, health sciences careers, around advanced manufacturing, around a whole set of skill trajectories, that have to be tied to what's happening here in the labor market. And that requires the input of very different kinds of actors. And that is, at the end of the day, in some ways, an operational question, right? I think sometimes we think of these issues as being all about big, bold ideas, and we've got those, but really it's operations. How do we get people to work in different ways? And I think, that then requires better data. We then need to have the kind of metrics, the kind of dashboards that let us understand, for a business to be invested, they want to know, are we going to see the right kind of credentials coming out of this system? For parents to feel good about these choices, can they understand that getting an AA in a technical field actually is the way to earn more money than getting a BA in other kinds of fields, right? We have to sort of give everybody more information so that there's more transparency and they can feel more confident in choices that look very different than the choices people have been telling them they should think about for years.
Yeah, makes sense. And one of the key roles that mayors play in our communities is we're the narrator in chief. Yes. And this is definitely one of those issues where a new story has to be told in the communities, because we all know, and all of us have said at one point or another about the challenge of parents who are worried that if their kid, it's like CTE has the cooties. Right. Right. So I don't want my son into that program because it might divert him from my dream for him to go into college. Right. And our initial response has been to say in the public, well, but not everybody's going to college. But that just makes it worse.
Right.
And so we don't need to frame it that way. Everybody has different paths. They all end up there. But because we frame CTE, career technical education, only as a rescue strategy for the most at-risk kids, then our voters and the taxpayers won't make the investments that we need, and everyone needs both college preparation and the career background. Now, Governor, one thing I want to ask you is, and you'll answer however you want. You'll answer a different question if you choose to. But one of the changes from the new No Child Left Behind replacement law is it shifts much more of the accountability and assessment and metrics back to the states and to communities again. What do you think that, so folks like you and us now have more responsibility to retool what we think about school performance and accountability and student success. It's an opportunity in this field to get career technical education and career pathways into the mix, isn't it?
It's a big opportunity, and we ought to take advantage of it. Probably the most overused term these days that we all throw around are public-private partnerships. We talk about that all the time. But this is truly an area where it's a necessity. None of us have enough money. Whether it's federal government, state government, local government, none of us have enough money to do what we want to do. We have to bring the private sector in. Secondly, the private sector is hungry right now for employees. I mean, the economy's going up. There's all of these vacancies, and they can't find people to hire. So they're hungry to find a way to satisfy that, because their bottom lines will be better when they satisfy that. And it's also an attitude adjustment with families and with children. A very simple thing, and I know most of you all have probably done it in your cities, but if you haven't, you should. And that is, get your companies in and start scheduling, getting those families, not just the child, get the parents to go one day and see what really goes on in that company. I mean, eyes will light up. When we take kids and families into Ford Motor Company, the manufacturing facility in Louisville, they don't see people with hammers and all this. They see robotics. They see people on computers running all of this fantastic next generation stuff out there. And eyes light up. They go, wow, I want to be a part of that. But most families don't know, don't understand, have never associated what's going on today with their children. And just a simple step of doing that every so often and getting your industry involved in that will make a huge difference in that attitude, because you're right, it's not a place of last resort anymore. It's honestly the place of first resort for a lot of new jobs out there. So having it in our hands, some may think it's a curse, it's a blessing, if we're just smart enough to form those partnerships and use it. And you're right about the measurements. Graduation rates. We all brag about our graduation rates. Kentucky is in the top 10 in the country in graduation rates from high school. But we started in 2010 measuring something else. We started measuring college and career readiness rates. And we found in 2010 that 38% of our high school graduates were college and career ready or career ready. Now, in 4 years, that's gone to 62%. But it's like you said, Mayor, that's great, but that sure as hell ain't high enough. That needs to be way on up there. But we've got to start paying more attention to what it really means to come out of high school ready to work or ready to go on to some other kind of skill training. That will help us also build that pathway that these children need in order to have a good job, a great education. I'm an old-fashioned guy that still believes I'd love for everybody to have a liberal arts education, because I just think from a quality of life standpoint, everybody would be better off if they were exposed to a lot of that. But at the same time, we don't have to be locked in anymore to 12 years of school, K through 12, and then 4 years of college. And the world's different these days. You can go out and get a 2-year certificate. You can make money. You can support a family. You can go back to college. You can do all kinds of things out there, because it literally is a womb to the tomb operation anymore. Education is ongoing every day of your life. So I like the fact that the control of a lot of this is going to end up in our laps. If we take hold of it and do what we need to do, we'll have some great results.
Terrific. Well, that's some inspiring lessons, some great examples, some useful tips and hints. Thanks, Governor Beshear, Mayor Price, Mayor Walsh, Chauncey Lennon, for the great panel and for the announcement on New Skills for Youth. This is a fantastic program of work for mayors. It's critical to our agendas in local communities. Appreciate your leadership and your participation on today's panel. Thank you so much. Buses, for those who are heading to the White House, buses are out front boarding now, so let's head on out and thank you to the panel.